The main bait that I have success in the winter with, and it's late January, is gizzard shad. So on my farthest casting rod, to where I think I'm most likely to get a fish in this backwater cove, my deepest water being out that way, because that's where I'm putting this bait. It's daytime, it's a clear lake, it's kind of shallow where I'm at, and I'm not expecting big fish to be close to the bank in this clear water out here in the middle of the day. I need distance. This wind is going to keep me from getting some distance, but this is where I'm fishing, so I'm just going to have to do the best I can out here. Again, gizzard shad, where I most likely think I'm going to hook a fish out of this thing. Another thing that fishing has taught me is once you think you know something, they're going to show you something else. Looks like my beads came off this thing. Oh well, I'm going to use it today. And I've seen days they wouldn't touch a gizzard shad because they're sick of gizzard shad. Especially during a shad kill, which is what we've got going on. I've got 3 other types of baits out here, and I'm going to use all 3, and I'm going to continue spreading my baits even into the shallower part of this cove just to get a better bait spread. And I'm going to be using a combination of frozen skipjack, bluegill, and I even got a small catfish the other night, and I've had good success on quality fish, so I'm going to throw a piece of that out too. That's an 11/0 Mustad Demon wide gap. This is a what they call the 2X, much thicker wire. You need strong, stout rods to set a hook with that heavy a wire. I'm using very heavy action stuff. I can set it. You guys try to set a hook like that with your Walmart ugly stick, and it's probably not going to set. I just noticed that this Berkeley Prospect Chrome is starting to get a white, chalky or milky look to it, so this is 50-pound test. I expect it to be pretty tough. It's probably dropped down to about 30-pound test right now. I will be changing this line, or it's just down here on the bottom end. I'll probably be cutting about 15-20 feet off the top of the reel and getting it to where the line looks better, and retie a old piece of fresh cut blue catfish fillet. This is my least good casting rod just because it's so big and so wide. Has very heavy mono. I can get out with it, but not as far as some of these other setups I got. It's January 25th. It's 12:14. I'm gonna sit out here a little bit this afternoon. I just got a bite right there on my gizzard shad. It's definitely a small fish. You're gonna have a lot of channel cats in this lake or reservoir. I'm at Tellico Lake, people, and I ain't gonna lie to you. There's a shad kill going on. I went out last night in Fort Loudon and I just caught 2 small blue cat. One of them I'm using for bait. The fishing has gotten tough there over the last week due to the shad kill. And basically, typically as a catfisherman, you want to go toward where the bait is. I'm actually running from the bait. Why? Because the bait is dying. I need to get away from all that dead bait out there. There's so much of it, those fish are feeding, but they're already full, they're gorged. I can't hardly get them to find my bait through the mix of all the other dead shad out there. And if they do find it, they're full. Guy asked me if I wanted to go out on a boat this morning. And I'm like, man, I got to make a bank video. I appreciate it though. But he asked me my thoughts on the day, and I told him, man, it's been tough. I said, get away from the dead shad. So he's in a boat. He's going to head out somewhere deep. Me, I don't have the options of deep like he does. I'm actually fishing very shallow. Most of my bank access in Fort Loudon is shallower water. It's backwaters. There are some channel spots I got, but they're fished so hard, and they're, you know, better at one season or another, not necessarily right now. So I'm pretty much, at least close to home, confined to a lot of shallow and backwater fishing. So what I have done is I've jumped lakes. I've came over here to Tellico Lake. Why? You know what I've never caught in Tellico Lake throwing a cast net? A dag-blasted shad. Sure, there's bait in here. There's bait in any system. But this lake does not have near the bait as far as shad that Fort Loudon does, Watts Bar does, etc. It also doesn't have the numbers of catfish in this lake due to the lesser amount of bait. But because of that, it also doesn't have the catfishing pressure. Meaning what fish are here, there's actually some quality fish in this lake. This is the Tellico River, or what's coming out of Chilhowie, and eventually this river combines into Fort Loudon about 10 miles, 15 miles downriver from here. But it's a completely different kind of system. This is more of a cold water system. You got a lot of yellow perch and stuff in this lake. It's just a little bit colder water lake. This one's coming straight out of the mountains, you know. Basically, I'm running from the bait, people. What fish I do find here, since there's a lack of dead shad everywhere, are going to be willing to hit my bait when they find it. Like I say, there's not as many, but I have caught good quality fish out of this reservoir. So this is where I'm fishing today. Well, people, I'm going to go sit my butt on a rock somewhere and see if this jumping lakes doesn't help me out a bit. I've got a fishing show, and I need a good fish on video. Well, we're officially over the lunch hour. We've been out here about 45 minutes. Most action I've had is some persistent channel cat over there. Keeps nibbling on a piece of that gizzard shad. I hate lunch. I don't never catch squat at lunch. Catfish don't eat lunch to me. They'll eat brunch, they'll eat dinner, but they just don't hardly eat lunch. I guess they ate so much at breakfast or brunch they didn't want no lunch. Either way, noon sucks for me. Sure, I've landed a few here and there, but for the most part, noon sucks. Always has. It's windy, it's cold. I've got roughly 5.5 hours of daylight. And I can tell you this, doing this kind of fishing, some days, yeah, you're going to get lucky and you're going to walk up on a hot bite. But most of the time, it's a waiting game. You're going to have to do that time. You're never going to be truly successful doing what I'm doing unless you just like being out here. You're going to have to like just sitting here. Most people, they don't get a bite for an hour or two, they'll pack up and go to the house. Not in this kind of fishing. I got to looking and walking down that bank, and man, it's only a foot deep way out there. So I moved that rod, put it more straight out, and I got a great cast, but I still didn't hit any kind of water depth at all. So I know this is very shallow. I have caught some big fish shallow in the winter. It's 2 o'clock. I want to check this with Navionics, but I don't have any Wi-Fi right here. I caught a good fish down here last year during the shad kill. I'm just going to go with it, see what happens. 2.5 hours in, and the clicker ain't made a sound. I thought about going and get a bite to eat somewhere uptown. Just one big fish is all I want to see. That'll make a YouTube catfish video for me. I knew it was slow. That's why I jumped lakes to begin with. I'll stick around a little longer. That's all I can do. The thing that's always worked best for me is keeping in mind that patience is key. This cold wind is really starting to suck. Makes me wish I was up on the hill sitting in my truck. That same bait's been hit about 45 times today by that old channel cat. He just won't commit though. Not like I want him anyhow. I wish he'd get him a bite and go on. That water's very shallow, man. I can feel that line hitting rocks out there. There's old Tellico Lake Blue Cat. Woo! Patience is key. I knew it was shallow out there, but I got a good fish here last year during the shad kill. One thing that experience has taught me, if something works, do it again. Last year when the bite got tough, I came out here, managed to get a cat on video, just got another. Alright people, shad kill's been going on, so the bite's been kind of tough. Standing out here in the January wind made it a little rough. Threw out some baits, gave it a go. Caught a decent fish for the Catfish Dave show. Here we are up on Tellico Lake. I'd say there's not a whole lot of catfish videos out there up here on Tellico Lake. I've got a few. I've got some good fish in this lake. It's not catfish heavy. It's also not shad heavy. I was trying to escape all them dead shad in Fort Loudon. Figured I'd jump lakes, come out here, make a little daytime video. I'd say after dark this place might turn on. This shallow clear water might get them coming a little closer to me. Like I figured, it was the gizzard shad that got the fish this time of year. Of course I threw other alternatives out there because that's just something I like to do. It was the farthest cast that got the job done today, right here in this shallow backwater bay. This is a video. There was a fish in the video. That makes it a fishing video. This is Catfish Dave with another one, signing out.